I got shot when I was 17. God has been pursuing me since I was a little girl. And I feel like the only way he could really get my attention is to sit me down, literally. I got into an argument with a guy that I was dating. Basically, after getting into an argument with him over the phone and letting him know that I could no longer talk to him or have a relationship with him, we saw each other 2 weeks later and got into another argument, and he pulled out a gun and shot me 3 times, hitting me in my back, chest, and arm. I knew him personally, so I didn't think it was really happening. And then I remember just hearing gunshots, and I was just falling to the ground. And as I was falling to the ground, I was praying the whole time. Because growing up in New Orleans is hard. It's crazy when I tell people that, but I always felt like I would get shot. And I always said, if I get shot and I die, I'm gonna pray before I die. And so as I was falling to the ground, I was praying, I was just saying the Our Father's prayer. I just remember feeling like it was a dream. The bullet that went through my chest and knocked a piece of bone off my spine, and that is what paralyzed me. I was a senior in high school when I got shot. I stayed in the hospital for 3 months. I got out of the hospital about 2 weeks before my graduation. I found myself in this situation all by myself. My friends, they no longer came around. The guy I was trying to be faithful to, he found another girlfriend. I grew up without my mom or my dad. My mom has been addicted to drugs since I was really young. And my dad got killed just a few days before my 2nd birthday, so I never really knew him. But because I didn't have a mom or a dad growing up, my dad's family raised me, I always was really independent. Now being in a wheelchair and I had to depend on everyone around me, it was really difficult for me because I was used to being an independent person. I was living with different relatives. I was living in houses that was not handicap accessible. And just having to really just depend on everyone, and I felt like I was being a burden on my family. I became really angry at myself and all the decisions I made as a teenager. I was in a gang. I joined the gang at 13 years old, right after Hurricane Katrina. Me and a group of girls from the project that I grew up in, we had fights everywhere we went. We had fights at parades, we had fights at school. I can't even begin to explain how many times I got expelled from school. In order for me to truly live for God, God had to dramatically change my life. I became really depressed. I was angry at God. I was angry at the guy who shot me. I just remember feeling all alone in a situation and no one could help me out of it. And so I began praying and just asking God to bring someone into my life that could help me and that can, just kind of help me along on this new journey. I was invited to this church called First Baptist New Orleans. When I got to this church, it was just different. The people just loved on me, they prayed for me, they cared for me. I began to learn more and more about Jesus and who he really is and who he was when he walked this earth. And that's when I decided to get saved. I have peace now that I didn't have before. I began forgiving family that I felt wasn't there for me. I began forgiving the guy that shot me. Now with Christ, I know that no matter what I go through or where life takes me, he's gonna be there with me. And he's gonna strengthen me to endure whatever comes my way. God began to use me. I went on my first mission trip to New York and New Jersey in 2013, a year after I got saved. And I spoke at 7 churches there. And I just thought that was the most amazing thing. Like, I'm in New York and New Jersey, just like sharing my testimony all over the place. But God began to do even bigger things after that. I've spoken at women's brunches and at schools. I've spoken in Haiti and Nicaragua. I met my now parents at 19. And I met my dad one day feeding the homeless in New Orleans in the 7th Ward. And I was with my best friend Lydia. And my dad, he was a pastor in New York and New Jersey area for about 30 years. He came up to me and just started to ask me about myself. And we got to know each other. He brought my mom down one day and I met her. He told me that God had put it on his heart that I was his daughter. They later retired and stepped down from their church and moved to Louisiana. And then I moved in with them. My mom, she cooked every single night. She still cooks every single night, and we had dinner together at the table every night. That was so different for me. I had a dad who would call me princess, and every morning he was just like, "Hey, princess," and I'm just like, "Dad, like, why are you so happy right now?" My parents blessed me with a car last year, and I got my license. It was really hard getting it, but I do drive, and told them that's the worst thing they could have gave me. Because literally like a couple months after I started driving, I moved to Houston. I have my hair business, Grand Hair, and it's been really good. And I also have the Bible ministry that me and my best friend started. We send out free Bibles to people all over the country. They send us prayer requests and tell us a little bit about what they're going through, and we highlight scripture according to their prayer requests that we feel like could encourage them. Write notes, like sticky notes. That's been amazing. We started a t-shirt line to help us fund that ministry because we buy the Bibles ourselves and we also ship them ourselves. So the t-shirt line, we started it and it just like blew up. We just started selling out like really fast. So it's really hard to keep up with everything, but I'm managing. God is teaching me a lot about myself, and I'm just growing into the woman I believe he wants me to be. I believe that I'm only strong because Christ has made me strong. I'd rather be sitting in this wheelchair with Christ in my life than to walk without him any day.